There we go. Happy New Year, everyone. Tech Talk, episode 20, January 6th. Ah, January 6th. That's a good one. We're going to be talking about it, all right, but I don't think it's going to be the same thing you're thinking of. So, before we get anything else going here, for those of you that are tuning in, as per usual, my website, www.segovia.com, is the website. More important than ever, I might say, because I'm unshackled. So if you're not yet familiar, last episode that went up, as of this recording, I am a realtor no more. So there's a lot that entails. So I recommend you check that episode out if you haven't done so already. And for those of you that are still not aware, I did make some upgrades to the website, and once you hover over some of these menu options, you'll be able to see some kind of drop down menus. I officially have a locals community. And for those of you that are interested in my interviews that I do for my show, now there's a place where I'm curating just all the interviews there. And if you go today, for those of you that are watching this right now, you might be able to get a sneak peek at who my guests are coming up, because I've already done those interviews. They just need to be scheduled out, and so they are. But locals community exclusive content there, off the record, has moved there, and that's more relevant than ever, as I'll cover it here in a moment. But before I get into anything else, we got to take a moment to talk about an event that went down that is shameful and stupid. And that, of course, I am talking about the Capitol Hill riots. I didn't see an insurrection because there was none. And 1 year later, there hasn't been any charges of insurrection. And it was not a terror attack, Ted Cruz. It was not a violent terror attack, especially when the only victims were unarmed protesters who somehow, some way, had they been wearing different colors, would have been supported by the very people that are condemning this attack. So again, I reiterate, it is shameful and stupid, and a lot of crap happened since then, but it's not an insurrection or a terror attack. You can actually check out the stuff that I've done to cover all that on some of the other platforms where this is carried. I even covered it off the record here, but if you want to see the video centric stuff, I've had it on Rumble since the very beginning. Let me go to the fourth page. And where is it? For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you already know about this. So I actually covered it here. My reaction as it happened, the aftermath, and the fallout. Believe me, I was just making my presence known in Rumble when this went down. So this is my most watched video up to that point, was the night before January 6th. And then I did the Capitol Riots trilogy as those things happened. And with that, I got throttled by Rumble. I can't explain anything else other than they throttled it, and it barely got any pickup after that. So since then, I have reposted those videos on another video platform that I'm on called YouMaker, for those of you that are not familiar with it, and they're getting more views in just 12 hours than they did in over a year on Rumble, because they were squashed. Anyway, those are places that I wanted to highlight, and I'm not going to dwell on that. I said as much about it already, so I'm going to get into this. But before I get any further, this is the first episode I do with a guest, and there's also another reason why I'm bringing him on, because it's all connected to all this. But he's going to help me live react to some of the things we're going to look at, because he finds himself on some of these platforms too. He was my first collab. I appeared on his show. He appeared on my show. I'm going to bring in Trevor Brown from This Just Trevor. All right, Trevor, you're in. Let me just get you over. Let's bring our faces up, huh? There we go.
Hello.
All righty. Well, Happy New Year to you, man. You probably heard some of
Happy New
this.
Year.
You probably heard some of the stuff that I was talking about already. So I already did the commemorative part, so we're moving on beyond that. But it was because of that a lot of the other stuff that I'm going to highlight here, and some of the stuff that you're doing, became even more important. But before I talk about the bad stuff like big tech and stuff, other things like that, let's talk about the vanity of it all, because it was the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas this week, as is every single year. And I'm only pulling from Pocket Now to highlight some of these things. Microsoft, pure broken promises. They ignored Windows Central, but they finally responded about a day or two ago saying that, oh yeah, we're going to get the update Android 11 over to the Microsoft Surface Duo. So pathetic because you guys been saying for the longest time it was going to come out by the end of 2021. You failed to do so nicely in the coming weeks, and you're skipping Android 12 to go to Android 12L so you can support these dual screens devices. Good luck, man. You guys really suck at phones, man. So, excuse me. Let me see what else is available out there. Samsung sold 10 million Galaxy S20 FE devices, those called fan editions. And they announced the 21 for anybody that cares. Where the flip is it? Well, I don't know, but this is the one that's interesting. We have Microsoft that did patent a trifold device. It was like Samsung's beating them to it. And where is the?
Looks like it's going to snap in half if you use it for its intended purpose.
Pretty much.
I don't like these. I don't like the aesthetic of them. You know, it really feels like they're trying to, you know, those new Star Trek movies where they have the holographic tablets, but they hold the holographic tablet from the back. So how could it be a hologram if the energy light thing is solid, but whatever. And it just feels like an attempt to make that. And those are just, they're not easy on the eyes. You know, they don't look like they work well. They look like they're designed to look cool, you know?
Well, yeah, they do look cool. And I think all of us want to interact with our screens because I think it's been a dream of many when Microsoft revamped their Windows UX to be what is called Metro UI, and they introduced the live tiles and all that. I'm a big fan of that. I'm sad that it went away, but that they would have advertisements of people like interacting with the live tiles themselves with their fingers. Like, dude, I would so love that. Like to be able to interact directly with that digital software in a physical space. And I think that's what this is so clearly trying to be. And I don't know, but yeah, you're right. This is gonna snap as soon as we get our hands on it. I mean, Ace is announcing the ZenBook. These are OLED displays
Keep
that are
away
folding.
from children. Yeah.
That's for sure. Google basically trying to be more iOS like. They're announcing quick setup, fast pair, Wear OS unlock, and more Android features at CES 2020. And believe me, your device is not getting it. So what's the point? Probably the Pixels are going to have it first and other things. But let's see.
Pixels are basically just iPhones, but for people who don't want to commit to being smug to have an iPhone, but they still want to be part of a club. You know, that's what I gather from it, at least.
Pretty much. And that's like the Nexus program for anybody that knows anything about de-Google devices or just tinkering devices that are meant to be hacker friendly. Pixel lineup is the closest thing to it. And they're not, I don't know how the new Google Silicon is for hackability. I just know that I don't trust it because they embedded the AI deep into the hardware itself. It's not just software based. So if it's already in the hardware, you're SOL. You can't remove Google from it. And speaking of prying eyes, Facebook/Meta reportedly halts their mixed reality OS development. Meta has stopped the development of a custom operating system for its upcoming AR and VR headsets. Okay, good for you. And Color OS is it's probably the most popular Google alternative software out there. It's very clean. It's Oppo, which also known as OnePlus. So that's that. Okay, and I think that's about it that I want to cover, man. There's just so much on CES. That's crazy. That's way too much. So let me see. I'm going to talk about some other platforms here, but I ate a chip, and this chip is causing some discomfort. So hold on, be right back in.
I suppose that means I'm supposed to fill in. Let's see. Monkeys. Let's talk about monkeys. I can't do a Joe Rogan impersonation because Well, to be frank, I don't watch Joe Rogan enough, but seems like a cool dude nonetheless, I suppose. My friends who watch him are cool, and if they are interested in Joe Rogan, that means Joe Rogan is cool. But monkeys, chimpanzees, DMT. What do you think about that? And he's back. Cool.
There was no dead air, I imagine. But what's this whole thing about monkeys?
Oh, I was doing a Joe Rogan impersonation while you were clearing your throat. So I just went monkeys, DMT. What do you think about that?
Hey, whatever helps. Speaking of Joe Rogan, he made big waves because this is a good segue too. Because I am going to be moving from tabs. So I need to close some tabs. I already talked about Rumble. So Rumble, UMaker, you guys can find me there.
Yeah.
A lot of you know about Parler. And there's a reason for that. Because this today is basically the anniversary. Well, not today per se, but
when it got beamed down by the Eye of Sauron.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I have not read the books. I've only seen the movies because, well, I prefer to watch my fantasy. Well, I want to see the sword fights. If that's cool.
I want to hear the soundtrack. Yeah, I don't entirely blame you there. Well, this is basically it doesn't look like it used to. This is what it is like now. There was never
different. Yeah.
This is dark mode. I love the dark mode. Whoever's in charge of the UI colors, fantastic. Whoever's in charge of getting functionality up, they need help there. So that's definitely one thing. But here on Parler, they were blamed for what went down, and you cannot organize here. And as the investigatory committee into what happened discovered, it was actually Facebook and Twitter. But
Parler was the slate.com, so it's not from a right-wing publication if people are going to say anything about that. So
yeah, and that's a crime shame because, well, it really screwed up for a lot of people that had their stuff there. But it also shows you, don't put all your eggs in one basket, also known as Amazon Web Services. They're a behemoth in all this. And when they control most of the internet, you're not going to find stuff that they don't want you to find. So here, while technically it is back in a way, it hasn't risen to the status of what it used to be. Unfortunately, I have gained more followers. I have gained interplay. We are able to upload videos again. And this is an episode that I posted up November 29, 2020, that I spelled out everything that eventually happened a couple of months later and shortly after that. So my whole I told you so stuff, it's documented very well. And lately I've been like, you know what, I should post more about it. But I don't want to dwell too much on the stuff that I talked about. More like Parler, it's still there for anybody that wants them, like to check it out. Unfortunately, if you want to check it out without signing up, you can't. You can't see some influencer accounts. You just can't see the accounts. If you know somebody, if they're not considered an influencer, you can't see it without signing in. So someone like me that is verified but not considered an influencer, because I don't have that massive following, will not be able to see my posts without having a Parler account, which is unfortunate. But Trevor, you used to be on this platform too, but
yeah, I deleted it because it just got to a point where I was already on Gab and I was already on Minds, and it's just one of those things where on my thing for my show, I call it the Trevor Report because I report things. It's more of an archivist podcast where I just archive the things that happen and then I talk about it for 5 minutes each, like little thing. But like it's mainly just okay, no. Here's what happens. Here's the reality of the situation, the reality of our situation, and please stop lying. I'm archiving the things that you say. Stop lying. Stop. That's kind of what I do. But I just ended up, I was just kind of like, okay, well, my Gab account started to get traction. And then this was right around the time Getter was announced that it was going to be a thing. And I was just kind of like, this is the most unintuitive social media site I have ever used. I have to upload the same upload 4 times. just so it could be live at the time I want it to be uploaded. And then hours later, I have to delete everything that I uploaded. And so I'm just like, all right, whatever. I'll get rid of it. And now that the Truth Social is coming out, and the fact that Gab is more of a Facebook alternative than a Twitter alternative, so you need to join groups and like chat in groups to get more traction. Because what I like to do is I like to post something, and then I like to put like between 5 and 10 tags on the post, and that's how I like to gain following. It's a very organic way of doing it. It's like, oh, you're interested in the thing? Oh, here's the thing that you're interested in that I'm providing, But you can't do that on Gab because it's more of a peer-to-peer Facebook kind of thing. So when Truth Social comes out, Trump's platform is going to use Rumble's web servers. Don't like how Rumble is becoming very centralized, but whatever. But then I'll end up joining that probably. Getter's having a live streaming feature. It's going to have a Getter Shorts or whatever it's called. That's going to be similar to TikTok. I don't know why you would want to emulate TikTok, but whatever, fine, cool.
It's what the cool kids are doing.
Yeah, so it's gonna have all that, but as me and you, I don't want to say I don't want to refer to you in the third person in your presence. So me and you, we talked about how calling these liberty platforms, and ever since then, that's how I've been calling it. I've been calling these liberty platforms. These are not alternatives, especially not for me. My business that I run, my news organization, and my news organization, I use the RSS feeds from Odyssey to host my podcast and his podcast on there. There's been a bit of a problem with his podcast on there, so I'm just going to start manually uploading them. Sad reacts, but so that's what's going on with that. These are not alternatives for me. For me, these are the only option, because on places like Twitter is a place if you want to where you will succeed if you are willing to be dishonest and ethicless. That's where Twitter, that's where you belong if you're successful on Twitter. Twitter, like all environments that are predominantly left-wing, are more concerned with the aesthetics of being virtuous instead of actually being virtuous. But Getter's so wholesome. Getter is just the most wholesome platform I've ever been on. Like if you go on Twitter, you'll see someone of the right and the left. I don't have Twitter, but I can speak categorically on Twitter because Twitter has bled into every social media profile.
Yeah.
So even though I have these liberty platforms and I have an Instagram account that I use personally, well, I also consume YouTube videos or whatever casually, like every other teenager. Well, I'm 20 now, so I can't say I'm a teenager, but you get the point. So I have enough exposure to Twitter to categorically say that Twitter is awful, Twitter is hot garbage, Twitter is trash, and Getter is better. And I didn't win the prize when they announced that there was a prize for people who said that Getter is better and put that as a tag. I didn't win, but it's fine. I participated. I had fun. It's cool.
Well, there you go. And you mentioned something that we're going to touch on a little later. That's regarding your news network. So the thing about Getter is we're moving on from Parler and how its functionality has never returned to what it used to be. When you signed up to this and kind of convinced me to look into jumping on this because you're the one who brought it up, you said it felt like the good old days of Parler, the energy there.
Yeah, like pre-December Parler energy. This is at the time where there was a lot of populists on the left and the right, but it was mainly troll lefties that went on there. Jimmy Dore hasn't joined yet. Sad reacts. He's the only leftist commentator that's like an actual socialist that I can actually I could see myself having a conversation with him. He's literally the only one because he's not an insane lunatic. He's grounded in reality. He's just wrong. And that's fine. He's human. I'm wrong about things too, but I could say that to him and he won't try to create a targeted harassment campaign in order to deprive me of the public square, Yeah. So
here, it's been getting a lot more attention because Joe Rogan came on this after Dr. Robert
Joe Rogan's fans
alone.
are the
I think I could
best.
say that.
You know,
That jumped on over here. So there's been huge uptick, like over 500,000 new
Mm.
new subscribers here. But one of the big differences is that as soon as they all jumped in here, I didn't feel a change to the traffic or the platform. Like it got bogged down like Parler used to and Gab used to. So,
Mm.
so whoever's managing the infrastructure here, yeah, it's always been a concern to me because it is Chinese based. And
No. It's a Chinese billionaire who's pro Hong Kong, who made a rap song. I can't. I speak Latin based languages, so I'm not going to pronounce his name because I physically can't. But he's a he made a rap song called F the CCP. Like it's the actual F word. So like
uh-huh.
yeah, he's a Chinese. It comes from China, but it's all the Hong Kong types. It's all the free Taiwan. The Belt Road Initiative is bad. I fled communist China, kind of China. You
I
know
see. Okay. Well,
that
thanks
kind
for
of thing.
clarifying that because I
Yeah.
haven't been one for Getter until recently,
Mm.
and I've been engaging a little more. And next thing I know, I get a bunch of new followers. So I'm like, okay, then I'll spend a little more time here. A place
Mm.
where I didn't get much of any traction though is unfortunately in mines where this is. I would say this was the most decentralized of the places that I first discovered. Because when Parler went down, I was looking for an alternative place to land.
Mm.
And by alternative, I don't mean like an alt tech kind of thing. I don't subscribe
Liberty
to the
platform.
leftist. Yes,
Just get
exactly.
it in your head. Liberty platform. It makes sense.
I'll try to I'll try to condition myself to that way. But
No. I'm
what
not a communist. You know, just you're going to just willingly do it because it's a good idea, not because I'm forcing you to.
yeah. Well, when it came to this one with the app, this is as close as it gets to having a Twitter feed meets Facebook feed meets Instagram because it has the
Meets crypto
functionality
market.
of Instagram. It meets crypto market, yes, because it's quite literally working with cryptocurrency here. When you connect your wallet and things like that, you can buy tokens. You gain
You
your
can earn them too by just participating in the site, which is cool.
yeah.
You know.
So it's all right here as a chat and all that. I will say that Minds is one of the two places, the other one being BitChute, that's a video platform, where I have been hated on by very unsavory folk that quite frankly told me I'm not welcome there. So like, yeah, I got the point. So like, okay, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. So
If you had ignored them initially, they would have stopped. At least on mines, they don't really care on BitChute.
oh,
I've been called. Um, I'm not even Jewish, but I've been like I have comments that are just like things that I can't. I don't know what they mean.
I
I have
know.
no idea what they mean.
Yeah, and I didn't pay them any attention either. But there was just something like, okay, you're just trolling for the sake of trolling. So I did it in the
Yeah.
blocking them. But outside of that, like you're throwing insults at me like I care what you had to say in the first place. It's like I don't care. You took the time to check out my videos, great. But if you want the time to insult somebody you don't know with a passion, yeah, I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. I don't know you. I don't care.
I've been called the N word derogatorily.
I can't process that one.
I don't understand.
I know. I don't think it's best to try not even understanding what they're trying to get at.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
I
that.
don't want to. I don't know what like if they're calling me that. I'd hate. I don't know. I don't want to decipher that riddle.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
having covered all these other ones, the biggest one that still holds, I would say, the claim to protecting freedom of all speech
Hmm.
would be Gap. Some people have called this the Christian Twitter, yeah, the Christian version of Twitter.
I mean, yeah.
I reject that entirely because there's a lot of people here that are not even Christian,
For
but
now, I'm
also
one of them.
yeah, but there's also some that profess to be Christians, like and they're just warping the Bible to spew whatever hate they actually hold in their hearts. Like, yeah, there's nowhere in the Bible that can defend your position. But over here, I can say that unlike other places, there aren't the bot accounts. They have a really good hold on these things. So even though I only have 59 followers here, it makes sense when I do notice that I get followers in other across other platforms, and they're just bot accounts. And like, well, I care more for interaction. And even though I have less followers on Gab, I have more interaction on Gab from those followers than I do on the hundreds of followers I have everywhere else. With the exception of Instagram, Instagram is my number one. So I'm still on Instagram for that very reason. However, here, and I think it bears in mind to mention that Gab TV, I believe, has officially surpassed my viewership and interaction than YouTube.
Yeah, you're shadow banned on YouTube, straight up. Straight up. It's the most obvious evidence of shadow banning I've ever seen in my life. You have 2,030. Sorry, you have 2,300 subscribers on YouTube, and your latest video got 6 views. You're a chill dude. You know what you're talking about. You know, you don't do scams with your product reviews and stuff like that. And by all accounts, your videos, because like even on my stuff, like I'll on average half the views that I have are from the subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Like your views will be like like you'll probably get a combination of people who are subscribed to you and people who aren't subscribed to you. You know, like with YouTube, I used to have a gaming channel on YouTube as like for fun, and it had like 100 subscribers by the end of it. It was just for fun, and it was just sort of like I know like there was never a point where I got less than like at the time where I had 100 plus subs where I got less than 50, because you have the people that subscribe to you. So what's going on is YouTube clearly is not showing people your notifications, or they're deliberately turning down your view counter.
Which they actually mentioned that on the YouTube Studio side, like, oh, well, what a coincidence that this happens quite often. But here's the crazier part still, because I think this is worth comparing. 16 views for my last video, Realtor No More, versus Gab, which is 314. There is a huge discrepancy of activity. Now, and this is from a place where I only have about, let me just look at it right now. I have 121 active subscribers to my channel here, versus considerably more on YouTube. And here's what's happened on YouTube. People don't even know I posted a video. It's like they have notifications on or off. I don't know. But what I can tell you, because I too subscribe to my channel to see if I can see my videos, I've been surprised to see that where is my video? And it would not appear on the subscriber feed. Where it would appear sometimes is if you go directly to the channel and then see like, oh, I posted another video. It's been interesting. And like, well, just to rule out that it's not just me, I asked close friends and family, like, hey, can you pull up to check if my videos appear? They're like, yeah, you haven't posted anything since this one date. And like, yeah, go straight to the channel and let me know if you see it there. Some say yes, some say no. It's interesting to see how these things happen, because I've seen it happen on the browser and I've seen it happen through the app. So
if you have a VPN, for anyone watching, go to your favorite YouTube channel, and this is, well, to borrow a term from a certain smug section of the population, it's a very systemic issue with these. I call them liberty platforms. No, big tech. Big tech's a good term. I like that term. Big tech, they're literally just use a VPN. Just go to any channel, and you will find videos that you didn't see. Like use a VPN, set it to like Poland or something, I don't know, and then then type America, and just see all the things that you're missing. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, it definitely is. So when you're out of the country, you don't you don't get to see the mind control that's going on here in the United States when you're in here. So it has been nuts to see all that play out. The videos that do get amplified by YouTube will be stuff that's more tech heavy, like a specific review perhaps. So that would be something like my Under Armour Project Watch 123, but the video before that has 1,500 views. Um, but whenever I talk anything else that's not related to all that per se, there's like a stranglehold on some of those things. So like I didn't say anything controversial as far as I know on some of these videos because there isn't. That's not what it's meant for. But definitely some throttling. There's been shadow banning happening a lot, particularly whenever I do my anniversary videos. I just reflecting on what's gone on. But yeah, it is crazy to see just like a fraction of what I would get on those videos if they were here on Gab, where people are a decentralized place, are able to find my stuff. And on average, my videos, at least my most recent ones, are getting 200, 300 views each. There's some, I don't think I've broken the 1,000 view, but this one's pretty high up there at 716 views. So I am getting significant amount of views. 716, the real reason single family zoning was eliminated. Let's see how many I have here. The real reason, 18 views. Now that one is,
and that's just not even possible. Like even dead channels get higher views than that. Your videos, and to be fair, your thumbnails are at par with everyone at your subscriber level. You mix your audio well, you have a well balanced schedule, and all of the basic things. But what you do have on your channel, your YouTube channel, that other people don't, is you occasionally say things that go against, well, I don't want to say the narrative because that gets said too often. You say things that are against the cathedral, basically, to sum everything up. And I think by the time you've joined these other platforms, I think it's one of those things where you're not a part of the club. And it's a characteristic with all these platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. WhatsApp is a part of Facebook, and I'm not going to include that. There's everything under Facebook,
Oculus and all that.
It's all you're a part of the club or you're not a part of the club. And most people aren't a part of the club. And so what's going to happen is, and this is why the second reason why I joined all these other platforms and I decentralized my social media presence. I have a lot to say about that, but is in part because of what happened to Parler. At that point, I was like, all right, I'm not going to swear, so I'm not going to say that. At that point, I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm fed up. You deserve to fail, and I'm going to be a part of your failure. And that's why the second reason I decentralized my social media presence. The first one was because of Parler. It's like, wow, I should probably do this. It's probably a good idea. And yeah, leave these places. These places aren't for you. These places actively discriminate against you, and there's no forgiveness. None. Leave. These places are better. They're more wholesome, and they will welcome you as part. They will welcome you as part of the group, part of the tribe, and you don't even have to subscribe to any belief in order to do it.
Yeah. Or
unless you're on BitChute.
Yeah, I learned that one. Yeah. But hey, it's a free country. I can be wherever I want or not be wherever I want. Mm-hmm. That's my choice. So I will exercise that freedom to its potential. Well, I think in general, though, we talked about quite a few things here that all kind of encompasses. You kind of reference it there with the whole decentralizing of a lot of things. And what's the full website URL for your news network?
Yes, theacropolisnews.com.
Theacropolisnews.com.
And this is not a traditional news site. It's got a lot of different elements to it,
Yes.
so.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is because you just said, dude, you're 20 and you felt like you needed to go uh do something because of the oncoming onslaught of the control and the flow of information and things like that.
Mhm.
You know, this I give you kudos because you actually took the time to develop something from the ground up,
Hmm.
and it's a full-fledged news site. And very respectfully, you asked me, and you were my show's included here too. So
Yeah.
I technically am now officially affiliated with the Acropolis News Network. This went up for the 1st of January, and you're growing this even more. It's legit. There's a lot here that people can digest,
Hmm.
and getting news, and you do well. There's the Trevor report, then there is the ANN. So can you describe to people what the difference is?
Yeah, well, the Trevor Report is basically my podcast, if you want to call it that. That's just an easy way to explain it to people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's essentially an excuse for me to archive the ongoings of the political just tribalism of the United States. Because when people in red states and blue states are going to play a very edgy version of red versus blue and Halo, I want people to know, look, this didn't spring up out of nowhere. When the history books are written 80 years in the future and a bunch of stuff's going to be cut out, it's like, no, you're not cutting any of this out. I refuse. I won't let you. And so it's one of those things where I created let's start with the first letter in the acronym, Acropolis. The Acropolis was this place in ancient Athens. People say ancient Greece, but Athens is a city state and not a nation. Bite me, but it's technically not a swear. But and so I wanted to kind of create that in the modern era. So I decided to just say, hey, well, people have these YouTuber houses where a bunch of YouTubers go in a house and then they collab and they all gain like 1 million subscribers or whatever. And then everybody gets mad at each other and then they leave and then they make vlog compilations about how much they actually secretly hated each other all along. We're not going to do that, by the way, because I'm awesome and I only invite awesome people. But that's what the Acropolis side is. It's basically just, this is the one thing that Liberty platforms don't have. It's a club. And I seek to make the club, basically. That's what the Acropolis section is. And by club, I mean, hey, here's this place where a bunch of cool dudes do cool things. And I wanted someone to do tech news and stuff because I just bought the books. It's on top of my Bowflex. I haven't used my Bowflex in a while, but I have a Bowflex in my room, and on the chair is A+ and Net Plus certified thing. So it's like, okay, well, that's not all of tech. And I want to get A+ and Net Plus certified like later on. I'll probably take the test I'll take the Net Plus certification when the season opens. You get a C and you're certified or whatever, probably. I haven't figured that part out yet. Oh. But let's talk about the news section of it, because that's separate from my podcast, and the Andres Segovia show, which, he's shut up phone. My phone. I have to have notifications on now because I'm mildly popular and I need to engage with people or they get mad at me. Well, but
there you go. Gotta appease the fans.
Rome is the mob. No, I like talking to them. My fans are awesome because they enjoy what I say. I'm not actually a narcissist. I'm just being facetious, Yeah. But the news network is mined on the side, clicking the Just News tab real quick.
It's
on the homepage.
Just right here. Just the news.
Click click the breaking Joe Rogan joins Getter, because it's a more perfect example. Yeah. Now, I do write opinion editorials. I've done reviews of Liberty platforms. I've done them for YouTube alternatives and Twitter alternatives, and I'm about to do them for Facebook alternatives. Facebook alternatives is a bit harder. And what the Just News section of Acropolis News Network is, it's articles without bias. And by articles without bias, it's sort of like I've taken the information from things that are going on. This is after I believe that I've consumed enough material right and left, and I just gather what is true, like what's factually accurate, and then I also gather what both sides have said, and then I strip what both sides have said from what they believe, from their editorialization, and I just put it there because, well, for one, this is an incredibly easy thing to do. This article, aside from the actual research that went into it, took about uh, 4 minutes to write. The getter post on the bottom was buffering when it was uploading. That's why it took that long.
Mm.
Sort of like, I think this is the future of news. It is stripping it of editorialization. And you could also go to the Library of Alexandria, where I have opinion editorials, and I have it's the Library of Alexandria has all of the posts. And if you could hover over articles real quick, I'm sorry to make you work.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
So what you looking for?
And the articles, there's full context where something mildly important or super important is happening, and there's video evidence of it. The article will just be the full evidence of it. And then I already talked about reviews. And then the rest of the stuff is just what you would find on a regular news site. I do have a feature where people can send me things anonymously, like Project Veritas. And I also have an academic feature where I host academics. And to kind of just get it into the groundwork, I paid for research into the coronavirus lockdown effects on children. That will come up. I'll come up soon. But most importantly, I got it from someone who is outside the liberal democracy Western paradigm, because, well, I wanted something that was objective but wasn't in our realm of politics. And I actually vetted hundreds of candidates. I literally went on Fiverr, and I'm not kidding. And I just kept doing it over and over and over again until I found 10 people, and then I found the final person, and all that stuff's going to be coming up. So pretty cool. And soon it'll have a Netflix feature where I'm going to have, kind of like Netflix originals, but it'll be Acropolis originals. And you could pay for that, and you'll be able to pay for that with your choice of crypto. And also have an NFT market for my thumbnails that I spend way too long making, because I spend more time making my thumbnails than I do recording, editing, and distributing my videos. So each thumbnail I probably spend about an hour or two on it, like perfectly positioning all of the things, all the images, saturating it, So they're basically just high quality memes, and you'll be able to pay for that with crypto because NFTs are awesome. I think. I haven't looked into it. I haven't looked into it yet, but they seem awesome.
Well, maybe they do. Melania Trump's crypto went up for a limited time only. I think it wrapped by the New Year's Eve, but it was announced through Parler, which was fascinating. That's why there's so much talk that Trump was actually going to buy Parler. A part of me actually believes that.
If he buys Parler and then he integrates Parler as a part of Truth Social, again, it's becoming very socialized. So it's basically just becoming becoming centralized platforms, but for people who value civil society. And it's like, no. The problem is the centralization. Let's be clear about that. This this earbud just died on me, but I have the other one in, so it's fine. Hey, you're using Brave.
Oh yeah. Official website. This is it.
Mastodon.
So this is supposed to be something that is Mastodon Social. It's supposed to be like it's an open source software, and this is like a Twitter. I think this is what ultimately Truth Social is going to be, and that is courtesy, which is why I really enjoy Pocket Now. I have to go find the article for this one because this is actually really good. Was it Adam Lane? Was it Anton Ginaj? Let me see. Where is it? Okay. Because what you're talking about like news without the spin, That's what the wires used to be. That's what the AP used to be. Reuters, CNN had their own wire, but then everybody just even took the wires and just made it all opinion journalism. Like, dude, that's not.
Why can't you
whatever.
have both?
Yeah, why can't the news just be
No.
the news? But they got to put the spin to it.
And the
Even
best part is because I own it, I'm chief editor. That's what I call myself. I'm the chief editor of the Acropolis. I own it. So as an editorial policy, the Just News articles are a maximum of one sentence. A minimum of one sentence and a maximum of a paragraph, which prevents people from being able to editorialize. So
yeah, that's actually
it's really easy to write these too. It's really easy. And if you get enough people doing this, you could churn out like probably each person could churn out probably 5 of these a day. Have a major. There's no reason a major network can't have 10 people churn out 5 of those a day on the side.
No, and that's true, but because so many people are just more focused on like, how can I spin this to fit a narrative instead of just setting the story. Like, dude, just let the story speak for itself. Despite all that, that's one of the reasons why I still follow Reuters on Rumble, for example, because I don't like the the opinion stuff from Reuters anymore. They gone so hard left some time ago, but they still put up just straight video feeds, no commentary whatsoever of events that are happening. So that's why I still subscribe to them, because like that's what a wire is.
They have some pride in what they do. Some,
Yeah. And why can't I find it, dude? How many articles ago was this? Seriously, CES ruined it because there's just so much here. I'm like around the 8th page of this, and like, dude, it can't be that long ago. So let me just type in here for the stuff, which I should have done in the first place. Truth Social. To fight tyranny with it. Pretty much. And what I like about this is they just say, oh, what he wants to do. There's a what does it say here? The byline, because Twitter won't let him in. So he's making his own. And let me see where the tags are. Social media. Let me find it here. Social media tag.
I'm really hoping True Social is open source, because if it's not, like,
here it is. I missed it.
Like, I'm on some centralized platforms that don't tell you what their what their code is. Getter doesn't tell you what their code is.
No.
Rumble doesn't tell you what their code is.
So this is
Odyssey doesn't tell you their code anymore because they moved away from Libri, but their stuff is based on Libri, so you can kind of take a guess what they've done so.
And I think that's what Trump Social is trying to do. Like, you're curious about Trump's Truth Social Network, make your own instead. But if you like Trump's Truth Social Network is almost here, but if you want real freedom, you can just make your own version of it for free. So here is something from Frediverse. So that's what this all is. Truth Social developers simply install Mastodon and made some modifications that's actually encouraging the open source community, software community, and Frediverse. But there's one big rule that Trump developers ignored. The software license requires that whatever modifications you make are also open source and published. Trump didn't do that, instead pretending the Truth Social something completely new, but they did release the source as a zip file when called out on violating the software's license, which is...
I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that when you use open source code. I thought you can just kind of play with it, and then whatever you played with is fine. But I could see why there's some problems with it.
Yeah, but there it is. That there's Mastodon, and what's his name? There's steps on how to make your own server on Linode, so you can operate your own, I guess, social media. I consider looking into one. Like, that's a little too much. There's here is this is the guy that wrote the article, Adam Lane. This is his place on Librium 1. There's
looks very similar to Getter. Actually.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely does. But I think it's been around longer than Getter has. I'm not sure, but the point is that it's there. but it is handled by individuals' own servers. There's a really good poster because he wrote about it on Pocket Now, but I think it speaks to everybody. Here we go. Everyone loves to hate on email and tries to replace it with something else, but long after those something else are gone, email will still be here. Yeah, I think that's what ultimately we'll be coming back to. But yeah, it's interesting that it's this thing, Mastodon, and there's nothing here that's like, oh, this must be what the far right is or whatever. No, actually, I tried looking into it. I'm like, wow, this is very liberal.
The
So
far right is slowly becoming a slur, if you think about it,
pretty much.
which is unfortunate because that's referring to 50% of the population of the planet as a slur. So that's gonna be great. That's something to look forward to.
Yeah. We'll see about that. But that's just something I appreciate about Pocket Now. So this is kind of like a reason why I keep checking them out. That's not to say that they don't have their biases. They do, but they try to remain as pro as possible when covering a lot of
I have
things.
mine.
And they've been as neutral as possible when it comes to talk about Trump's social. They even highlight the positives and something like that. So I'm like, I appreciate websites that leave the spin out of it. So those things still do exist in some way somehow. But anyway, this is we're gonna call it a wrap on this tech talk. My first time having a guest. Thank you for joining me, Trevor. So anyone interested in checking out the Acropolis can go to the acropolisnews.com. You can even check out my show there. New episodes will be eventually uploaded, as Trevor said, manually. So good on him. Thank you so much.
I'm not going to go through your entire library.
You don't have to. No.
I'll do it. I'll do it later. How about that?
That's up to you. And for those of you that are curious about something that someone got banned, it's right there on the banner as of now, because you do not want to miss out on that interview. Believe me, those 3 hours and 14 minutes quite literally fly by. Check that out. Find out why Big Tech doesn't want you to check that out. But anyway, once again, my stuff can be found at www.dangeroussegovia.com. Anywhere where you want to connect with me, you can always go to connect with Andres. You can find my socials where to listen and watch. And ultimately, here's a sneak peek what you're missing out on Locals, because I got a ton of exclusive content that's here and is coming soon, including exclusive shows that you're not going to see anywhere else. And you're still in time to participate in the Starbucks gift card because the public wants Starbucks. And okay, fine. I'll do a $25 gift card giveaway for Starbucks. You can participate only on Locals. And for anybody that signed up before the new year, you're already automatically enrolled. So you don't have to do anything else, but just check it out. That's it. Trevor, thanks again. I'll be seeing you around the socials. And,
hey, no problem.
And that's where we'll leave it. Oh, wait. Almost forgot. Where can they find you?
Oh, I used to say when I was a naive fool that you can find me on any and all non-Silicon Valley tech platforms at This Just Trevor, but that slowly became something that was completely unmanageable. You know, because I don't have YouTube, so I don't auto syndicate any of my feeds. Well, I auto syndicate my feeds from Odyssey to my website or whatever. So you can find me on my website, and on the website you can click on Trevor Brown. You could also click on Segovia. Scroll over, hover home. If you hover home and then you hover about. I like to embed the pages like that. You can click Trevor Brown, and this is my solution to Linktree banning me because I'm against race nationalism, and I'm sticking with that story. And I just made my own Linktree. That's where I am.
There you go.
If you want to give me monies in exchange for my labor, you can check out my LinkedIn. You know, and then I do live events sometimes when we very nearly got to the God Emperor himself, Larry Elder. And yes, I'm sticking with that too. That's still funny. Elected as the God Emperor of California. Well, I did a live event on YouTube, D Live, and Odyssey. But Odyssey live streaming is kind of wonky. You have to set up a new live stream, get a new stream key each and every time you live stream. So I don't embed it anymore. But here's where I am, you know. And you can take the TGT challenge, which I call it that arbitrarily. It's a video where I'm basically saying, hey, you decentralize your online presence, please. Pretty please with the cherry on top. These things are cool. You want to be cool? please. That's basically the video.
Well, that's how you try to convince people to participate.
Mhm.
Egg them on. But I'll be leaving a link to this the description down below for those of you that are watching on the replay.
And also,
You can
there's
find it.
a link tree I made for Andres. You can find. I
That's
speak
true.
Spanish. I can pronounce her name properly. It's Andres. You can find it right there.
Yeah. Oh, merci. Look at this. So there
Yeah.
it is. Yes, there's some of my stuff there that you can find.
Click the tiny logo.
The what tiny logo?
There's the logo that's the thing, but click the tiny version of your logo.
This one?
Yeah.
Voila, it goes to my website. Ta-da! Boom. All righty. So yeah, I have my own link tree version over on ANN too. So all right, awesome.
You have more words and you can embed more videos and you can embed more socials than they allow you to.
Absolutely.
Because unlimited web hosting for a reason. What can I say?
Boom. All right. Okay, and that's where we'll leave it then, folks. So I'll be leaving links to Trevor's stuff in the video description down below. Check it out. And thank you so much for those of you that are joining us. And while I appreciate YouTube letting us do this live stream or rebroadcast later, I wonder how long they'll leave it up. We'll see about that. Thanks, everyone.